We're ready to begin looking at transformations using an activity through Desmos. This activity is called Transformation Golf Rigid Motion. What it allows students to do is to use translations, reflections, and rotations in order to move objects around the screen. It shows them the vocabulary, the pre-image, what our original shape is, an obstacle that we have to go around, we cannot go through it, and then the image, where we want our final shape to begin to end at. Click the next button, and it will allow them to go to the next screen. Challenge number 1 for our students: use one or more transformations to transform the pre-image, the purple one, onto the image, the white one. There is not a limit as to the number of transformations that they can use, so this allows them to practice compositions of transformations. A student can do it in one turn, or it might take 5, and it can vary from student to student. So there are multiple options that can be correct for them. Playing around with it the first time is something that I found to be useful, just to get a feel for what each button does. So if I select Translate, notice it says that I can adjust the arrow on the grid. This point here is where it is moving it from, and this point is where it is going to. The arrow shows me that direction, that vector. So if we can begin to discuss vector notation with our students as well, that is something that they will see later with transformations in pre-calculus and calculus. So we can begin to introduce them to that vocabulary here as well. So if I want to take my original point and put it here, and let's say I want it to go there, I click Submit, and it shows that movement on my screen. I'm not finished because my pre-image did not end up on my image. Maybe I make a mistake and I say, oh, well, if that's what Translate does, let me just put this where I want it to end up at. I want that point to end up, if I can make it stay, there. And I click Submit. But I went through the obstacle and it crashed and broke up my pre-image. That didn't work. It let me know that I need to do something else. Maybe that translation didn't do what I wanted it to do. I can simply click X and make it go away. If I would like to reflect, I can choose Reflect, and I can adjust that line of reflection. So if I wanted it to reflect over this line, it would do that. Let's say though I want to adjust that line of reflection. See that pencil? I can click that, and it will allow me to keep the reflection but to change the line. So let's say I want to get it over here. So I want that to be my line of reflection, and it will flip it that way. Let's say I wanted to rotate. I can choose the angle that I want to rotate it with. I can choose clockwise or counterclockwise, and I can also move this center of rotation to somewhere else that I want it to be. It does not have to be at the origin, which is something that is a step up from what they've seen in middle school. Students have seen transformations in middle school, but we are taking those standards that they saw and beginning to challenge them to use different vocabulary that is more closely related to what they will see in advanced courses like vector, as well as moving around that center of rotation or that line of reflection to build what they are able to use. So let's say I want to keep it that 90-degree angle, but I want it to go clockwise instead. It shows me the direction that it's going to go. I can submit, and it will rotate at 90 degrees clockwise. As you finish the slide, click Next. Notice that it allowed me to click Next without even getting the first one correct. That can be okay for students who tend to get stuck somewhere. That will let you know that they were not able to be successful, because on the teacher dashboard, you are able to see everyone's screen as they are working on these. So that lets you know which students you need to check in with and which ones you do not. As you finish a slide, click Next until you get all the way through the lesson and practice using your transformations through Desmos.